Alright. Here's the fucking crack. So I just done a video in my school community, how to build aura. And I touched on briefly an interesting concept. It's the concept of failure. You don't fail enough. Okay? And let's think about it like this. If you were to tell me how to pick up girls and you'd only been with 3 girls in your life, I'll be like, who the fuck do you think you are to tell me how to get girls when you've been with 3 girls in your life? It's the same thing with if someone's going to give me business advice. If they've only done 1 business or they've done 2 businesses, I'm not necessarily going to think their business advice is that legitimate. You go to a barber shop. Do you go with the barber who's been cutting hair for 6 years, or do you go to the barber who's been cutting hair for 6 months? Experience is the number 2 trait in this universe that is more valuable than money. Okay? Number 1 is time/age. Okay? You can't buy your age back. You can't buy time. Number 2, you can't buy experience. So, if we're going to think about how to become insanely charismatic, okay, the first thing you can do is, if you are not young, is to get fucking experience. Go out, level up your character. Fail. Talk to girls, fail. Get rejected, fail. Try and make friends with important people, fail. Make a business, fail. I was on a yacht last week with this fucking guy who just founded like a plastic surgery company. You know what he told me? He told me that success is not determined by how good you are at something. Success is determined by how many times you're able to fail and keep going. And as cliche as that it sounds, every successful person basically just failed so many times until they got it right. You just learn from your failure. There are 3 personality traits that you need to develop to become insanely charismatic. Number 1 is confidence. Okay? Confidence is by far the most attractive trait. Women will talk to men who are confident because they think that it's going to work out. Women want to trust other men. And how could you trust someone that doesn't trust themselves? And it's the same way if it's working romantically. It's the same way with your friendships. It's the same way with business. It's the same way with anything. Any relationship between 2 human beings, the more confident one is, the more convincing they are. Are you going to buy off someone if they tell you the product is going to work, but they're like, okay, but like, I'm not sure. Okay? That's very basic. But it's true. If you want to be charismatic, you have to be confident. How do you get confidence? Experience. It just goes back to more experience. But we can dive into this a little bit deeper and we can treat it like a character. In my school community, I always talk about gamifying life and creating a character and a storyline and a plot. And I'm going to do it again here on my YouTube video. Your character has statistics. You need to level up these statistics. Go out, explore the world, okay? You're not going to become confident by staying in the same environment and hanging out with the same people. You're not going to do that. When have you ever met anyone that's fucking interesting, that speaks 1 language, doesn't do shit, and just goes to the 9 to 5 and has had the same girlfriend for the last 7 years? They're not fucking interesting. It's an NPC. And I swear at university, I go to the fucking cafeteria and it's like I'm talking to AI bots. It's the same cunt that's just been simulated 30 times. Every time I go to the cafeteria, I never see the same cunt twice. That's how unmemorable they are. Don't become unmemorable. Okay? Become interesting. How do you become the most interesting person in the room? Do shit. Sign up for a club. Play some football on the weekend. You know, go solo traveling. Go hiking. If you're a guy, go talk to more women. Do it. And the video I just posted on my school community. And by the way, I record these 2 at a time. I record 1 in-depth analysis of the problem for my school community, and I create like a broader video for my YouTube. So if you want an in-depth analysis on what to do, check out my school community. But right now I'm just going to say, just go talk to more women, have more time with women, experience time with women. And just by getting rejected and learning from that, you will become more interesting. You'll become more charismatic. The next personality trait you want to uncover is humor. Please, for the love of God, be able to laugh at yourself and be able to have banter. The best people I could say that are charismatic with their banter is probably Australians or English people. I'm not biased here, I've lived everywhere, but Americans are fucking shit at humour. Like, I can't stand American guys and their humour. And most of the time, they actually get offended. They get offended, but with like British or UK or Australian humour. And there's nothing that I see is more uncharismatic. Like, just take it like this. If an American guy, and I'm not trying to be racist here, it's just the plain facts, and you can learn from this. If an American guy and an Irish guy go over to, let's say, fucking China and have a conversation with a Chinese person, who do you think that Chinese person is going to think is more interesting? The Irish cunt or the American? They're going to think the Irish cunt is more interesting, okay? I'll challenge anyone on that. The lesson here is the banter and the humor is so important. And a lot of these American people, they don't have it. Which is why if you live in America, which I'm sure most of my audience live in America, it's so easy to be charismatic because the competition is so low in this humor, personality, banter trait. I've got a funny story actually. One of my boys, he's English at my school, and his banter is low-key like kind of irritating if you're around him a lot. But if you're around him just a little bit, it's so interesting and it's such a vivid personality that he just draws women to him. Okay? And he's not a good looking bloke. He's not great looking and he's not great at conversation. He's just got amazing banter. Okay? And that gives him an interesting personality. But like I said, how do you develop this? It's experience. You have to be unfunny before you're fucking funny. And most funny people, they developed this in school. They weren't really scared of saying the wrong shit. They said a lot of unfunny shit before they became funny. So just try it. Listen to people who've got banter. Listen to people who've got interesting personality. And just copy them. Literally just copy them. It's what I fucking did. I would say I was a class clown as a kid. I was a little bit insecure. But then as I grew up, I got a little bit older, moved away from home, I started to pick up on personality traits and slang from different people. And this is who I am now. I'm not saying I'm the funniest cunt in the world, but if I'm kicking it with a bunch of boys, I've got a little bit of banter about me. And that allows an onlooker from a distance to be able to identify me as, okay, that person's interesting. Number 3, positivity. Positivity screams experience because no one in this world is positive without having experienced something. Okay? Someone who's negative, they've probably also experienced shit in their life, but they're not a problem solver. They're someone who retreats into their character. And nobody wants to be with anyone who retreats into their character. No, we want to be with someone who's able to experience, problem solve, approach, and be interesting about it. There's nothing more intriguing than when you're going through some shit with another person next to you, and that person next to you seems unfazed and just ready to approach the challenge. Now you're thinking, I want to know what the fuck this guy's gone through to be able to develop that personality. Okay, but we can fake it. There's a popular saying, fake it till you make it, but I've got a better one. Face it till you make it, okay? When you've got a problem, face it. Don't fake it, face it. Literally just be happy that you're getting a challenge because you're going to grow from this opportunity. When you start to go through shit over and over and over and again, and you keep approaching it with this abundance mindset, this growth mindset, you'll become more positive. And the more you experience, the more you fail will actually make you more confident. The more you bore people, the more you become uninteresting. The more you fail, you become more confident from your experience. The more you try, you become more funny. And the more you approach with the right psychology, you become more positive. Confidence, humor, and positivity, these 3 traits will make you a lot more charismatic than what you are right now. Now, if you want an in-depth analysis on how to develop aura, which charisma is just a part of that, check the link below. Okay, I talk a little bit about other aspects that are important, but those 3 characteristics I just mentioned, so important for charisma. Just remember, don't be afraid to experience shit, and don't be the cunt that's lived at home his whole life and has had one girlfriend for the past 6 years. There's nothing more uninteresting than a story with no beginning, no middle, and no end. Have a story. Catch ya.